My name is Chibike Alaboso. I am the Senior Program Manager at Nigeria Health Watch, and I am also the project lead for the Nigeria side of the Solutions Journalism as Africa initiative, which essentially is helping journalists and media organizations in Nigeria to learn how to tell stories that are not just focused on problems, but reporting on people who are addressing those problems.
Well, as an organization, one of the things that we've always done is use informed commentary and advocacy to push for health policies. We've been using this as a means to advocate to policymakers, and solutions journalism has been a way we've been doing it historically. So our involvement with Solutions Journalism Network was an extension of this, and the aim was for not just Nigeria Health Watch to be instituting and using solutions journalism to respond or to report on social problems, but also to expand the reach so that other newsrooms across Nigeria could also use this as a means of not just sharing bad news, but also responding to problems that people often don't know how to deal with, but really highlighting and spotlighting communities, individuals, businesses that were finding solutions to everyday problems that Nigerians face.
So as much as possible, we try to be diverse while selecting people, the newsrooms in the cohort, because we also looked at different elements. Radio, because radio is still a big part of how people receive information, radio, TV, print.
Solution journalism in radio is very unique. Because if you check the world these days, though there are social media, there are other electronic media, but there's one uniqueness about radio. Radio covers a very vast majority of persons when it has to do with people that are not really grounded in terms of the literary understanding.
So we sort of mapped all of these people, reached out to them, the leadership, because we understand that to make this part of their newsroom, not just the project in and they move on.
I remember when we first started our initial cohort, and we were contacting different newsrooms and trying to explain what we were trying to do. And of course, then it wasn't so easy, because there is a way that news is often reported, and what is this solutions journalism that you're trying to do, and how will our team work with you, and how will you support?
The program trained journalists on the practice of solution journalism. So from it, I learned how to write impactful stories, focus on responses to social problems instead of wholly problems as we are used to do.
Solutions journalism became part of my reporting. After the training, I was part of the second cohort. And what I discovered immediately was that it's possible I may have been attempting to do my stories solutions journalism way, but I didn't quite know the four pillars. So but what the solutions journalism did for me was to just lay out the principles.
For some of the newsrooms we had spoken to, and the change that we saw was they actually started spending a bit more time doing more investigative journalism. We often know that newsrooms are pressured to turn around stories quicker, but what the solutions journalism model made them do is look beyond just reporting problems, which they often do, but being a bit more balanced and not just reporting the problems, but also understanding the impact on communities of some of the solutions they reported in. So these were skills that has enabled them also to reach a much wider audience, because being able to now share their stories on things like the Solutions Journalism Network Tracker has expanded their reach and has given them the perspective to understand that it's not just about reporting news from the perspective of Nigeria, but also looking to how those solutions can impact countries outside of Nigeria.
So part of the impact of this program on my newsroom where I work is the fact that it has spurred us to do a whole lot of social stories, not just within the headquarters of the office, but we've kind of stepped it down to state correspondents, those reporting from other states for daily trust across Nigeria.
There's an example that was shared by, for instance, Kiss FM. And we always talk about how do we show women and how do we represent the strength of women in news, because women we know are often underrepresented. So they reported on a story of a community in Kubwa in Abuja who were waking up every morning and was solving a very basic issue. The road was really bad where they lived.
In 2019, our road is not motorable. So we have to mobilize ourselves because it affected our children, it affected our women. Pregnant women are falling and they lose their baby. And the students are falling and they are dying. So that is how the women organize themselves to fix the road since 2019 till today.
Others will come and report us and left. But these ones normally come maybe every 2 months, every month that we came, that we see the work that we have done, that we interview us and they will support us. If they have a little money, they will give us to support the road, their own financially support. That is how they are different than others.
And because of that, they were adversely impacted by it. So women going to the hospitals couldn't get there on time. So the impact of this story for Kiss FM was really critical because they were able to work with the community. So they were using the voice of the community to highlight a solution to a problem that people face on a daily basis, but they were using their means to solve it. And using the Kiss FM platform enabled the women to have a broader reach and enabled Kiss FM to also look at those human angle stories that really generate interest and inspire people to feel that they can also be part of social change.